Hey everyone, so it's Hearth and welcome back to my channel. On today's video, I'm going to be showing you how I cut cords and break ties with some candle magic. Cord cutting is a form of cleansing and banishing. It is designed to break the energetic, spiritual, and emotional ties that link two people who don't want to be connected anymore. There's lots of reasons why people may undertake a cord cutting, some of the most common being friendship breakups, relationship breakups, people moving away, or loss and grief. There's lots of reasons why people might choose to break the last remaining emotional, spiritual, and energetic connections between two people, but often it's as a way of letting go of that situation. It's one of the many stages on your journey to being able to release them from your life, whether that's because you were in a really unhappy relationship or because someone simply isn't in your life anymore and it's just too painful. A cord cutting is a really good step to help release any of the remaining attachments so that you can move freely on without them. So they aren't typically done to break people up, they aren't typically done to make things difficult. They're a healing method, and so many people outside of witchcraft will also use similar techniques as a way of emotionally and symbolically letting go of a situation. There are so many different ways that you can undertake cord cuttings. You can simply burn pieces of paper that have been tied together with the names of the people involved on it. You can use poppets that are made out of fabric. You can use 2 conjoined candles of any variety, or you can use poppet candles, which is what I'm going to be using today. The basic principle of this working remains the same regardless of the items that you choose to use. Each individual item is going to represent a party within that relationship, and you are going to be severing them, breaking them apart to symbolically cut the energetic ties between the two people. So if you don't have access to the specific tools I'm going to be using in this video, do not fret. There are lots of different adaptations that you can make. You can make the oil yourself. You can simply use 2 joined together taper candles. These are pretty readily found, and you can really adapt the working to suit what you have available to you. So with that being said, let's get started with this spell. For this working, you're going to need a collection of items, but you can adapt the working to suit what you have available to you. To start off with, we're going to need a plate, some kind of large flat container that's also fireproof, that's going to allow you to collect all of the wax remains that might come from the candles. Especially with candles like beeswax or soy wax, they're often going to leave a lot of candle remains, which you can then do candle readings from. The candles that I've chosen are beeswax poppet candles. Now I've chosen a male and a female, but you can adapt that as necessary. They just need to be joined at the very top. You don't even have to use poppet candles. You can use any kind of conjoined candle. That will work perfectly fine for this working. They also don't need to be black if that's not what you want. You can have them be red, black, white, grey, whatever colour you feel associates most closely with cord cutting and cleansing and banishing. You're just going to want to make sure that the colour that you choose, you feel connected to for that particular thing. You could also choose 2 different candle colours that represent the 2 individuals that this working is for, whether that is for yourself and for another person, whether that is for 2 people that you're doing this working for. You really can adapt the workings and choose different ones accordingly. You're then going to want some kind of cord cutting or cleansing oil. This is going to be used to anoint or dress each of the candles before burning. You're also going to want some kind of carving tool. I have an awl and a pin here, but you can also use a toothpick and a small knife, whatever you feel comfortable with. Just make sure that you're being safe, as well as something to light the candles on fire. Here I have a lighter, but you can use another candle and matches. In the video itself, I actually end up using a candle that I have burning off to the side, so you can use that as well if that's something that you feel more comfortable with. But this is really all you need, and then you can adapt it, change it as necessary. These are the 2 candles that I've chosen for this working. Currently they are empty vessels, but I'm going to transform them into poppets. The term poppet is the Old English word for puppet, and so each of these candles is going to represent an individual person within this working. That way, when we release the cords and the ties that bind them together, they will be free to exist as separate entities. It's a representational, sympathetic form of magic that allows you to visually represent what you want to achieve on a spiritual and energetic level. In order to connect each of these empty vessels, these candles, to a specific person, we're going to want to add energy into them, we're going to want to name them, and we're also going to want to carve in any identifiable features or tag locks. For the purposes of this video, I'm going to be using an awl. An awl is a tool that's used in leatherworking to punch holes through leather. They're very sharp and they're very useful for carving into candles. If you are using a particularly hard wax, you might want to heat the end of the tool up to really assist in carving. There's many different things that you can carve into these candles. If the people involved have very strong identifiable tattoos, then you can use those as a way of attaching the candle onto that person. For me, I'm going to be using full names and dates of birth. You can really use whatever you have access to, so get creative and adapt the working to suit what you have available. While I'm carving into the candles, I really want to be focusing on this person. I want to be thinking of what they look like. I want to be thinking of what they sound like. I want to be thinking about how they made me feel or how this person reacted to the situation as a whole. You're going to want to be focusing all of your attention, or as much of it as you can, onto visualizing or imagining this person as though they were standing right in front of you. Once you're done, you're going to want to name this person. I typically use the phrase, "Poppet, I name you, insert the name of the person here. You are they, and they are you." And this is a way that I've always used for attaching the energy onto a poppet. And then you're going to recreate this on the other poppet with the other person's information. Once you've sat with your candles and you've added enough intention and association into them, we're then going to want to anoint or dress the candles with oil. The oil I'm using in this video is my own personal blend of oil for cleansing. Now you can use this and get this if you are a UK resident, but you really don't need to. You can find these kinds of oil a lot in witchcraft stores, and you can also make it yourself as desired. I put a small amount on my hand and then I spread it over the entirety of each candle. While I'm doing this, I'm going to be focusing my intention on visualizing the person that the candle represents. Once done, I'm going to spend some time really thinking about the relationship between these two people. If it's something that I know personally, which I would typically recommend, I want you to visualize everything that you've experienced, from the good to the bad and to letting go. You're going to want to sit within the memories, sit within the emotions. Think of all the good, positive, uplifting times. Then think of all of the bad, stressful, anxious times. And then think about letting it go and walking away. And once you've sat for a while and you feel comfortable, we can move on to the next step. Lift up the candles and set them on a fireproof dish facing away from one another. You're going to want to make sure that the wick is slightly taut, as it's going to make it easier for us to burn through. With your lighter, match, or in this instance, a candle, we're going to be severing that wick with the flame. And while you're doing this, you're going to imagine all of those energetic and spiritual connections breaking, severing in an instant, allowing each of these two candles to burn as separate entities. For the entire duration of this working, you're going to want to be sitting by it. Cord-cutting candle spells are notoriously volatile. Candles can go out, candles can burn incredibly quickly, and I would always recommend you sitting close by. In this instance, the female of the two candles actually put itself out, and I had to do some really quick maneuvering to get it to relight again. This may well relate to the situation as a whole, and it's one of the many reasons why it's really important to be present during spellwork and ritual. While these candles were burning down, I wrote a small poem that represented my desired outcome on a slip of paper, folded it up and set fire to it on one of the flames of the candles before burning it in a cauldron. Please make sure that you're always using fire safety, but if you would like to, this is a great way of adding extra energy and intention into your workings. It doesn't have to be a poem, it could be a word, a phrase, or a little bit of information to describe your goals. By burning it, it allows the spirits and the energies to know what your goal is, and it can help add a little bit of extra energy and intention into that working. It's something that I do quite a lot, and it's well worth giving it a go if you've never done it before. Try to always be present for the entire duration of a candle burning ritual like this one. The candles tend to be exceptionally volatile with the high energy within that space, and the flowing of the wax, the moving of smoke, the dancing of the candle flames, the crackling of the fire, all of these things might hold symbolic significance. You can also undertake wax reading, flame reading, smoke reading, and scrying with the flames and the candles as a whole, allowing you to gain better insight on the success of a particular working. Now that the candles have completely burned down, we need to think about what we're going to do with the candle remains, the wax that's left behind. For this kind of working, a cord cutting, I would recommend disposing of them outside of the home and not reusing them. This is mainly because a cord cutting is designed to get rid of emotional, energetic, and spiritual attachments. If you're trying to get rid of something, you wouldn't keep it in your home. The same applies when it comes to spell work and ritual. This working is designed to get rid of something. So if you were to reuse or keep the items that you've used in that spell, you're essentially cancelling it out because you are keeping hold of these things. Instead, we need to get rid of them. So I personally would dispose of my remains in a public bin, somewhere that's outside of my home. It's important to remember though that you need to make sure you're doing this safely. The candles that I use in my workings are made of beeswax. They are natural candles, and so I can dispose of them in more ways than you could if it was paraffin wax or if there included glass and other things in there as well. So just make sure that you're using common sense and make sure that you're being safe with how you're disposing of things. Now, I do think it's important to point out here that not all candle remains or candle wax that's left behind needs to be treated in this way. We're specifically removing these from the home, from our life, because that's what the working is associated with. If this was a more positive working, something to bring in positive intention, you might want to remelt the remaining wax down to create a new candle, or you might want to keep the wax remains around in a little pouch, or just reuse them in some way. The reason that we're disposing of these externally is because of the intention of the working. It's not a requirement for every single spell that you're going to want to do. Another good thing that you might want to do is open some windows. This is, in effect, a cleansing spell. It's a targeted cleansing spell, but it's still a cleansing spell. So once you're done with the working, you might want to open windows and doors to let that energy flow out into wherever it's going to go. That way it's not stagnating within your home and within your space. This is really useful to do for all kinds of cleansing and banishing workings, and a lot of people don't realize that a cord cutting is essentially a banishing working. It's a cleansing and a banishing of that energy and the energy attachments that you've made. So much like with all other cleansings, if you follow the same routine of opening doors and windows, it could help amplify your working. And at the end of this working, you also might want to do a spiritual cleanse on yourself of some kind, whether that is a ritual bath, a ritual shower, whether that is a sound cleansing, a smoke cleansing, whatever it is, just to help shake any remaining energy that might be left on you. So with that all being said, I hope that you did enjoy this video. I don't often do spell videos on this channel, so this was a bit of a change for me. If you did enjoy it, feel free to give it a like. It really means so much to me. I'd love to know if you do cord cutting workings and how you do them. I know that everyone does workings slightly differently, and I'm going to be really interested to see how you will do a cord cutting different than how I do it. So please let me know down in the comment section, along with any questions, comments, concerns, video ideas, whatever it is you want to talk about, feel free to put it down there. And if you do enjoy the magical content on this channel or in this video, feel free to hit subscribe. I try to post magical content every single week. So with that being said, I hope you have a marvelous magical day, and I will see you in the next video. Bye! So a few little updates just before we leave. Firstly, I have a TikTok account. I will put the username at the bottom of the screen. It's also linked in the description box. TikTok kind of scares me. It's a very different platform than what I'm usually using, so please be nice. But yeah, if you do want to follow me on TikTok, that is what I'm called on there. Feel free to go and find me and follow me or whatever you do on TikTok. I am planning on posting like little witchy tips and extras from some of my spell work videos that could be really useful to you, as well as really abbreviated versions of the spells that I show on here. So I already have a few TikTok videos that I've put in drafts, and I'm very excited about them. I like being able to add music in. You can't do that on YouTube. You can't put music in, but you can on TikTok. So I'm kind of excited about that, and I've also got like a few ASMR videos for any of my ASMR fans of like candles burning and stuff like that. So it's going to be a whole bunch of like random witchy things. If any of you used to follow me when I posted on Tumblr all the time, I used to do witchy tips where I do like really short pieces of advice regarding witchcraft. That's basically what my TikTok is going to be, so feel free to follow me on there. I would really appreciate it, and it will make the entire experience considerably less scary. So, I also got a very special delivery today, and I can't show you because it's not here yet, but I want to say thank you so much because my silver play button arrived. Silver play button! I never thought in a million years that I would ever get a play button. I'm a witchcraft channel. A witchcraft channel. A play button? For me? Never. But it arrived this morning. I haven't seen it yet. I haven't opened it yet. I have not even looked at the box yet. It is not here. it has been delivered elsewhere. I need to go and pick it up, and I'm so excited. So thank you so much. From the bottom of my heart, thank you so much for all of your support, because truly I never thought that I would ever get a silver play button. Ever. And your support has been overwhelming over the years. Just the appreciation and the kindness is just amazing for me. So I'm not going to cry. I'm not going to get sappy. I promise. I will try. But thank you so much for that. And if you aren't subscribed, feel free to do that, because I'm trying to hit 150,000 for my birthday on July 1st. And that has been a big goal of mine for a few years, is to hit 150,000 for my birthday. So if you aren't subscribed, please consider doing that, because I would really appreciate it. It would make my birthday to hit that giant milestone. It was like the milestone I had in my head. So anyway, thank you so much. And I will show you the play button in the next video, because I don't have it yet. I'm so excited. I was at Witchfest Midlands over the weekend. You will have seen me sprinting around the campus because I was desperate to get to as many talks as humanly possible. And I had an amazing time. And I hope that everyone else that went to Witchfest Midlands had an amazing time as well. So for anyone who came up to me and said hi, thank you very much. It was lovely to meet you. I think I'm done. Have I put my jumper on backwards? I'm wondering why my neck is so itchy. It is because I have put my turtleneck on backwards. Where is this even from? Boohoo, apparently. That is why my neck is so itchy. It's because I put it on backwards. Okay, am I going to fix that? Probably not. I'll be honest, it's on now. Is anyone else like that? It's on now. If anyone asks, I'm just going to have to be like, oh, it's protection from the fairies. Though, to be fair, it's technically meant to be inside out, but no one will know. It's fine. Except the entirety of the internet.